So if you look into repenting in the moment and why the pop of Yeshua eternally, the purpose is soul in the moment, still dying, and he'll tell you that that's still happening to you, and that purpose is to see you eternally conquer sins. And missionaries say that it's an act of forgiveness. And why is it that Adam and Eve were let back into the garden? Is because it was a botanical purpose that they had. They had a quest and they repented. They were sorry. They brought a pie and their children into righteousness. And a second ago. So they're clearly raising their children to obey. And it's Canaanite bringing authority. It's bringing it to the table. So it says sorry, and it's an it, and it's offering chicken tenders. So I'll tell you why this one sin that enters the world, that's it. You need an eternal E bite. So all it's crazy. And you don't eat it up, you just manage to abuse that. That's the process of dying, and once you start it, you need a redeemer to quickly go back to the garden and to the status of a botanist. So whatever you are thinking about and whatever you're redeeming in your mind, you're shutting it up and redeeming it. You're clicking on the accept the coupon, and Yeshua, he deems us from the second depth and the eternal damnation. As Daniel says, it's quit to the near. It's an everlasting damned. So it's very specific, Daniel and his atonement and his maverick. He doesn't die in flesh, and he just, slowly dies in ego. So I don't have to worry about this eternal damnation because it grows. And I don't have to worry about the death beat because I'm not chained to the rhythm. It's the Passover land and a miracle. So it's for the obedient and by the route of obedience over the lamb and the nor. So guys and Yeshua, they're eternal, they're resurrecting things, and if he can be resurrected, then Court can definitely get resurrected in the shadow pictures to go pick me up and understand that the fall happens when you get unmuted and you get onto the stage and the serpent is directly telling you by God, God is the pressure head. And you're gonna strike his heel, you're gonna hurt it, and you're gonna play Pokemon Go with the rest of us. So at the age you're committing to the age of death and the strong to the fire and strung in and yang yang. Uh, it's just happening while you're drifting off and repenting, the squid to go, and grandma passing away. So your pain getting restored and healed. It's an uphill battle. You're not going to get destroyed as a city, because who are you to name yourself a city, you little town? So it's a temporary solution to an ongoing issue. And the foundational eternal death is returning together with the crucifixion and the atonement of the eternal replanting and replenishing the supplements. So it really focuses on that, telling you through one man syndrome that sin will be dealt with. And another thing, I don't know if you know this pagan ritual, there's not really putting a circle down and forgetting to the point of dissociation and really bringing your animal and saying, sorry, I was sacrificing you. I'm kiss him into the cheek and forehead and then give it your best. Walk away from that stupid idea, go outside and look at a woman with lust in your eyes. And that didn't long, that lust didn't last. And you got that attuned atonement and harmonization with Vitali and three Yeshuas. So the purpose of that ministry is to keep people engaged in the garden and run around chasing butterflies. And you're pretty much telling Yazal that you had a better idea for all of us. And you're trying to get around the salvation plan of God. And God shares his light and glory with rural people that are planting potatoes And Brock has a plan to plant more barnacles in the oceans so that the corals have someone to live besides. And let's not share this with anyone until we know for sure that Yeshua's getting into this. So I'm moving on to the next question, which is the great topic of the Hanging Gardens and little plays at theaters and schools. All the kids, the Teapot Club. So no man, no land, no guitar, no strings to pluck. And you know, Siddhartha, just you look like one. And that's the parents' glory to marry. Such a happy moment. It's not rejection, it's objection, Your Highness. You're troll. You're such a lovely little raggedy room. And Tizvin says, you're presenting at the Most High, and the Most High is gonna get the apple. Low hanging fruit. So there are people that can be glorifying and glorified and doesn't contradict, because it's a dichotomy that is objectively wonderful. So it doesn't do the matches, because they're not for kids to play with. You're not good enough to bring forward the restrictions and commandments. You're not trained well enough to be the rabbi that you are. You're not a Jew observing Holiday, Hampton Hart, Crick and Tip, Litton, Gision, Zabur, crackling, cracking, jokes being the gnosis, hypnosis. And claiming that the Messiah will be like Moses, you already have him cast in your head. And that's the way you want it to be in the answer respect. You're just hypnotized by the imagery to procreate more. And that's the second aspect of this ethno-religion that you're following that was catered towards a very specific ethnicity that lived nearby. So you're thinking about the Messiah and you're loving him. And you're just denying the crickets the attention they deserve, all the termite questions that get ignored. And the Bible connects it all in Genesis 1 and the Yeshua, Ezekiel 35 to 8. And for sure, I'm writing all of these books and all these papers and Pharisees and inspiring passages, because any truthful Jew will tell you that Paul was really trained like a Talmudic rabbi. He was an anti-missionary. He did not like it. He was all against it, nothing for it. Clues are seated throughout this text, and let's not get out of our hearts and minds. Let's keep it civil, and let's think for ourselves and tell when someone has got there. And when someone doesn't have it. So support by giving, donate by subscribing, and send love and joy to the world through and for and grew. So forgive. Only giving, forgiving should be the mantra of yours for today. And that's directly to the point with the super answers that are given.